Good, eve- good evening. My name is Richard. I'm a member of the Philadelphia Black Docents Collective, um, and we'd like to welcome you to our second annual Kwanzaa program. Uh, we usually all the time start out by letting us know, and we like to share with you what is the mission of the Philadelphia Black Docent Collective. And our mission is to educate, empower, and heal the Philadelphia African American community through the celebration of our history, culture, and African values. Um, Tonight we're, I'm gonna say formal, informal, family and friends, sharing moments of re-emphasizing what Kwanzaa means to us individually, to us as a group, to us as a community, and to us as a people. These 7 principles that we hope, if you're not familiar, to you as a person. There's 7 principles, and I'll go through all 7. The first starts with umoja, unity. On this first day of Kwanzaa, on the first day of Kwanzaa, the members of the African American community focus on the principle of umoja, which is the principle that emphasizes the importance of unity in all areas. Hopefully, you recognize those importance too, including in family, community, nation, and race. Second principle, the principle Kujichagulia, self-determination. This principle of self-determination, it focuses on building one's identity as a person and a community, both historically and in the present day, by asking the question, who am I? Also encouraging the question, am I all that I ought to be? Which makes us move to the third principle, ujima, collective work and responsibility. Now, this principle focuses on collective responsibility for both achievements and setbacks. I like to emphasize for all of us that we will have achievement and we will have setbacks in our community and individually. So this principle reminds us as celebrants that building each other up is the best way to truly solve problems. And that's what you do on this third day, ujima. But let's move to the fourth day. The fourth day is the day we decided that we will, as the Black Docent Collective, focus, and you'll get to hear different presentations, iterations of how ujima, cooperative economics, as a principle can be understood and displayed, which this celebrates the principle or the process of supporting each other economically, buying from Black-owned businesses and banking and banking with banks in the Black community, and keep the Black community economy strong. It also reinforces the principle from the day before, lifting up one person lifts up the whole community, which takes us to the fifth principle. All of this must have a purpose. And the purpose, or nia, that fifth principle, is about emphasizing not just keeping keeping money within the Black community. Nia encourages us as celebrants to focus on giving power to their spending, meaning focusing on having a particular purpose, nia. And in this fifth principle, it means providing a purpose for your own future. your financial future, your family future, the collective future as it relates to the economics or your personal growth. And it takes us to the sixth principle, Kuumba, creativity. Oh, I love creativity. It's the principle of creativity where we celebrate and we focus on bringing beauty to our community through art, dance, music, and literature. This sixth day of Kwanzaa honors our prominent artists, which all of us can be, or probably is, in the Black community, or it reflects on the artistry of the individual. This creative works pays homage to a rich history and a vibrant future. Which brings us to our last principle, and probably the most important principle of all, faith. Amani. This principle of Amani, which means faith, emphasize family and community traditions as a spiritual center. It can focus on religious faith, faith in the future, faith in the community, faith in yourself or oneself, which is a viable participant in this world. And with those elements, I like to say and pass on by having a libation by our sister member of BDC, Annie Thompson.
Thank you. Let's just take a deep breath, short, deep breath, and breathe it out. We give praise and thanksgiving to the omnipotent creator. We give praise and thanksgiving to the light and energy of the four directions. We give praise and thanksgiving to the light and energy of the air we breathe, and the water which sustains life, the fire that cleansed the earth, and the earth that holds us up. We give praise to all the honored ancestors who are seated at the foot of the Creator, having completed their work here on earth. We give praise to our ancestors who are buried in the soil of Africa and the Caribbean. We give praise to our ancestors who died in the Middle Passage. We give praise to our ancestors who are buried in the soil of North America, whom the Native Americans called Turtle Island. We give praise to our ancestors whom blood runs through our veins, and yet their names are not known. We give praise to our ancestors who walk with us, who look for us, who guide and protect us. Good spirits, we welcome you. We offer you water to purify the bondage of your life. We ask you, mothers, fathers, sisters, brothers, and friends, to remember us in your travels. Guide us, protect us, and all the members of our family, living and dead. We are in need of your assistance at all times to overcome challenges and obstacles. We thank you for your guidance. We thank you for your intercession. Good spirits, turn all of our prayers to the feet of the Creator. Still our hearts and our minds with instill our hearts and our mind with perfect peace and resolve. We thank you for the perfect solution in the perfect way at the perfect time for the best of all involved. ujima. I chose to look at this, value from the motherland. During the times that our brothers and sisters was taken from the motherland, they didn't think about themselves as much as they thought about the group. And there were many things that they brought with them on their body so that we could have what we had today. One of the nuts was the cola nuts, which the Coca-Cola is made of today. They brought many seeds of all of the vegetables that we eat today: watermelon seeds, okra, yams, black-eyed peas, and some peppers. Even our sisters braided rice grains in their hair so that they would be able to feed themselves as well as those folk, as well as their brothers and sisters when we got to this colonized land. And that's where I wanted to start, because this is cooperative economics that they lived with on the motherland. Thank you.
Thank you, Annie. My name is Carolyn, and when I think of ujima, cooperative economics, and lighting the fourth candle, I think that it teaches us to support one another and to build businesses that benefit the whole community so that we as a community can thrive. Opportunities such as We Buy Black and the Black Wall Street app helps to identify Black-owned businesses nationwide. The idea behind the Buy Black movement is exchanging the money within the community first, providing jobs to and within our community, increasing the average income, bringing more opportunity for more business endeavors, and then spending that increased purchasing power within our community. The Black buying power is estimated to be about $1.3 trillion. How much of that remains in the Black community? The more we work together to lift our community up, the stronger we will become.
Thank you, Sister Carolyn. When I think of you, Umoja, it's hard to say it, y'all, but I love it. But when I think about cooperative economics, I think about what's going on for Black-owned businesses right now. We had our sister Annie talk about the beginning in Africa. Today, in 2021, there's been 2 new Black-owned businesses that opened up in my community. So we continue to create our own. One is called Ubuntu. Ubuntu is a South African word that means I am because you are. And the owner of this this gallery, art gallery, his name is Stephen C.W. Taylor. Stephen is a 39-year-old Black male who started his own gallery. He visited 19 different countries in the world, even the Grand Canyon all the way to Soweto. He's been to so many countries and he took photographs of those places. And he has them right now in his gallery. And in his gallery, it's important, he was raised in Germantown. And he was saying that Germantown sometimes had so much just trauma. And he wanted people, the community, to see some beauty through the art, see some healing through the art. So that's what the purpose of his gallery. So you can go into his gallery free when it's open and see these beautiful images. He's also going to have that place for rent. So folks can rent that space. He wants to teach Black children how to be photographers themselves. And then maybe they see themselves in him. So I got to meet him. When we think about cooperative economics, we also think about social wealth. And so it's nice to know the people that we want to buy from, to get to talk to them, to see what their business is like and support them in that way. We can't always order everything online, and we don't know some of the people we online, but it's good to be able to go into an establishment. The second person that opened up their own gallery was a female, Black female in Chestnut Hill area. And it's called Tasco Art Salon, and that's 8113 Germantown Avenue. So her place is a diverse space that hosts educational crafts and workshops. She does vision board parties. She has some book signings there. She has beautiful African masks, authentic African masks. She wants to create that space for peace, but also to have fun. Kwanzaa should also be fun, y'all. And so I think I bring these places up that got started right in the midst of the pandemic. We still got Black folks starting businesses, and we want to salute them, and we want to, purchase from them. Thank you.
One of our members, Lynn Gibson, was not able to join us today, but she did send this video that we'd like to show you now.
Abaragani. Today is Ujima, Cooperative Economics. Cooperative economics is so important to us as Black people. It's something that I try to practice in all the things that I do. For example, when I see a new shop that's opened up and it's a Black owner, I'm gonna go in, I'm telling them I'm coming, I'm going in, and I'm gonna see what they're all about. I'm gonna check out and give it a really fair review, and if it's great, I'm gonna really support it. If it's not so great, I'm gonna give it another chance, because that's what we need to do. We need to try to always improve ourselves. When I see children, especially Black children, when they're selling something, if they're a Girl Scout or a Boy Scout, the things that they sell, I always try to support them. If I ever found a little Black child selling lemonade, I would support them too. But it's so important for us to instill in our young people the importance of supporting them in what they do. Cooperative economics also means that when I select a restaurant for dinner, I'm going to give the Black restaurants at least a little bit more play than I would visiting just a white establishment. When I'm traveling, I always try to see where the different pockets of ethnic people are, and I try to support restaurants or activities or adventures that are in those areas. For example, I had friends who went to Paris this summer and they ate at a wonderful Senegalese restaurant. That's where I'm going the next time I go to Paris. But it doesn't have to be grand, but it does need to be supportive. We're here as our brothers and our sisters keeper, so remember to support one another cooperatively.
Thank you, Lynn. My name is Michael, and I'm going to talk about 4 ways that we can exercise cooperative economics. First, buy at Black businesses. This was mentioned before. Now, everyone likes to hear the word sale. We all like to save money. That is a primary guiding principle when we exercise our consumer muscles. We need to really prioritize spending money with Black businesses over saving money sometimes. Drive a little further, pay a little more money. Visit the Black businesses and spend your money there. Also, give them constructive feedback about how they can improve, and then go back. Use a Black contractor. When you see a Black man or woman with a work belt getting out of a truck marked plumber, painter, or some other trade, ask them for their card, even if you don't need his services right now. Eventually, everyone needs a plumber. If it doesn't look like she owns a truck, ask her if she does some work on the side. If he doesn't have a card, tell him to get one. I have done all of these many times to encourage people to continue their work as contractors and tradespeople. I found some good contractors and my pipes don't leak anymore. Start an investment club. I have done this twice with close friends. We invested in stock and real estate. Write some bylaws, elect officers, and collect a small amount of money from each member every month that you can use to invest collectively. It's a great way to increase your financial knowledge and grow your bank account too. And get your children involved. I got my son involved so that I could pass these ideas on to the next generation. Finally, invest in Black venture capital. Now, this sounds a little bit way out and something that most of us don't often think about. Now, several years ago, a woman named Arlen Hamilton, a Black woman, had a dream to start a venture capital firm to support fledgling Black, minority, women, and LGBT businesses. She came up with this idea. She was couch surfing between her friends' places because she didn't have a place to live in. Today, based on that dream, she runs a multi-million-dollar venture capital firm called Backstage Capital. Now, ordinary people can invest in these opportunities through an investment fund that she recently started. I put the link to her website in the chat so you can check it out on your own. These are four of the many ways that we can exercise cooperative economics every day. And now I'd like to introduce Jewel Newton.
You're on mute, Jewel.
Ujima, Cooperative Economics. What do you think of when you hear this principle of Kwanzaa? Do you think of buying Black or keeping money in our communities of color? How about helping other Blacks out? Oh, how about helping other Blacks out from a financial perspective when it's needed? These are aspects of ujima or cooperative economics, but ujima entails much more. Now let's examine the term cooperative. If we use the word as an adjective, cooperative means that people or groups of people are involved in mutually assisting each other as they work towards a common goal. That goal may be to open a school that focuses on African American history. Another goal might be to start neighborhood gardens so that members who reside within that community can have fresh vegetables and fruit to eat. Now, cooperative in its noun form is a business or a farm or some other organization that is owned and run jointly by members who share the profits or benefits of the organization. Cooperative businesses are formed to provide a good or service at a decent price that may not be available within a community. They may provide a community with an economic or social need that is missing. Now, let's combine these two definitions. Let's say we're going to combine them as it relates to starting a school. 6 neighbors on a street in Germantown are no longer happy with their neighborhood school, so they come together and decide that they will homeschool their children. They develop a curriculum, create the lessons, and plan the outings that the children will take to enhance their learning. This is a cooperative effort between these 6 parents as they are working towards a common goal of providing their children with an education that they deem to be better than what they would receive at their local public school. The education of these same students would become a cooperative if the parents decided to open an actual school. They too would take to developing curricula and what teaching methodologies would steer the learning of the students. They would decide how the school would be funded. They would decide how many students could apply and come to the school. Would they be coming from the neighborhood, or could they come from outside of the neighborhood? They would decide on how to fund the school. Maybe they'll charge tuition. Maybe they'll charge tuition and fundraise, but they would be in charge of the funding of the school. They would also decide who might be hired as the teachers. So the parents of the students may be asked to participate as a requirement to be a member of this particular cooperative school. So cooperatives, no matter what type, whether it be a business or an educational or a farm cooperative, cooperatives, no matter what type, require cooperation between its members. Now, it's been said that Black people don't do cooperatives, but as we look back through history, however, we can see that cooperative businesses and cooperative economics and activities have been a major part of our history, as it is through cooperatives and such activities that we have been able to survive in these United States of America. This is another aspect of our history that has been written out of the history books. So let it be known that African Americans have pooled their resources together to solve personal, family, social, political, and economic challenges throughout every period in American history. It is an aspect of our history that still has positive implications for creating financial wealth throughout our communities of color. Now, I'd like to cite a few examples of how cooperative economics have been prevalent in our communities throughout history, particularly during the 17th and 18th centuries. Black folks have practiced cooperative economics with solidarity and collective actions when faced with oppression, racism, discrimination, and even betrayal. Enslaved Africans and those who were also free utilized African traditions of tilling small garden plots to provide for a more varied and healthier diet. Any monies that was earned by enslaved Africans was often pooled so that they might purchase their own freedom. Monies were pooled to purchase farms after the end of the Civil War. This was a way for the newly emancipated to obtain and establish farms and land of their own. Pooled funds provided for mutual aid, or it provided clothing and burial plots for those who needed it. Most of, burial societies to perform. Monies were also pooled to take care of widows and children. Mutual aid societies were often affiliated with churches, and although they existed in the South, they were mostly located in northern states and cities. The Free African Society was the second African-American mutual aid society in the country and was founded in Philadelphia. In South Carolina and the Georgia Sea Isles, the Gullah Geechee developed their own communities where they were able to live somewhat independently. The Combahee River Colony developed in a remote area of South Carolina. This was a community that was comprised of several hundred African-American women who occupied abandoned farmland. They grew their own crops and they took care of one another while their men went off and joined up with the Civil War efforts. The women in this cooperative community would not work for others, and they valued their independence and semi-autonomy. And I could go on and on. There are other examples, but I am going to end by saying that I hope you now have some understanding of what a cooperative is. Cooperatives and cooperative economics has always been a part of our history, and it continues to be so. When we use cooperative economic strategies to create businesses that will provide meaningful work and income, create control for workers and the possibility of wealth creation, it isn't enough for us to buy Black, but we as a people need to create viable opportunities for members of our communities so they have a chance at being successful here at home. And that should really say viable financial opportunities. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Jewel.
Mhm.
I like to offer my rendition of cooperative economics from presenting the Ujima economic cooperative economic project for Black Docent Collective. The pitch is using the principle of cooperative economics is to take the cooperative economic project for the Black Docent Collective and root it in the Black Docent mission. And what is that mission? Our mission is to educate, empower, and heal the Philadelphia African American community through the celebration of our history, culture, and African values. By doing that, the Black Docent Collective mission goal for this Ujima project would be healing. Just imagine an economic project to develop that will provide at its end a healing process for those who engage in the support of this economic activity. This cooperative economic goal would be in line with the Black Docent mission, and it would provide a total African experience in Philadelphia and surrounding areas with a broad time frame covering the 5 county areas of Bucks, Chester, Delaware, Montgomery, and Philadelphia, with Philadelphia being the core and the initial project, while developing the support of and supporting the Philadelphia area African American community. Yes, it's a multi-pronged project. Its economic business activities would include advocacy, education, marketing, preservation, and tourism, with a strong social media and technology component. The Ujima project will foster the commitment to shared social wealth and organizational revenue by providing history and culture as a cooperative way to merge culture and commerce. In thinking about this economic cooperative project would need for the Philadelphia Black Docent Collective an additional organizational design model. And that design model, I would like to propose be an adhocracy. Why? An adhocracy is an organic structure which is adaptable, creative and flexible. It's an informal form of organization defined by a lack of formal structure, non-permanence, and spontaneity. It employs multidisciplinary teams, grouped by function and deployed in small project teams to do their work. It characteristics allow adhocracy to respond faster than traditional organizations and are more open to new ideas. Quote, there exists today a chance for Blacks to organize a cooperative state within our own group by letting Negro farmers feed Negro artisans and Negro technicians, guide home industries, and thinkers plan this integration of cooperation, while artists dramatize and beautify the struggle. Economic independence can be achieved. To doubt this is possible is to doubt the essential humanity and quality of brains of Black people. W.E.B. Du Bois, 1935. This Ujima project as an augmented structure for revenue, for wealth, social wealth creation and revenue creation for the Philadelphia Black Docent Collective is centered in the Black Docent Collective mission. It provides a social outcome. It also provides multiple revenue streams, and its organizational model demonstrates Ujima, cooperation. I like us to think about the multiple ways we can build, as Dr. Du Bois said, this integrated economic activity and offer this as a suggestion for the Black Docent Collective. Thank you.
My name is Alisa Ujima, the fourth principle of Kwanzaa, Cooperative Economics. I would like to focus on cooperative economics during the Jim Crow era to show the consistency that the cooperative economics was developed and rooted on the continent and practiced by the people of the diaspora up until today. I would like to talk about collective economics through the lens of Fannie Lou Hamer, who was born during the Jim Crow era. Fannie Lou Hamer was an activist, strong woman, rooted very deeply in African ways of knowing. She would consistently fight for the rights and liberations of people of African descent in her communities. In 1969, Fannie founded the Freedom Farm Cooperative. And what this did was to allow her and the African-American community to define themselves, feed themselves, provide housing, as well as providing financial support for each other. Something that allowed them to sustain that way of life. Today, in 2020, some of the housings that came out of that cooperative initiative are still down there in Mississippi. So in the spirit of Fannie Lou Hamer, who continued the legacy of what it means to be African and human at the same time, using the cooperative economics to sustain her community at a time. With all those oppositions, I say, Ashe. Thank you.
Ashe. Valerie, if you wish to, if you have something else you would like to share.
Yes, I will, but I also would like to share our sister Michiko who has a business as we talk about cooperative economics, because I have bought some dog food from her and her partner and her husband. So I would
Yeah,
just
so we
like
got a
her
real
to
live one here.
bring that up, because yes. Thank you, sister.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We've been making dog food now for a couple of years, and what I really love about my community is that I am a part of a community of Black-owned businesses in a small strip. There's a woman who makes homemade skincare. There's another woman who has a juice bar. There's another woman who has a bakery, and they're all right next to each other. So these two sisters are right there. Then my fitness, the guy who runs the fitness place, he's Black, and that's around the corner. And then there's us. And then there's some Browns, some Puerto Rican that's right next to us in terms of our restaurant. So we've got some little, Black and brown cooperation going on there. My husband's Puerto Rican too. So we have a nice thing going on, and it feels great. And we support each other, and we buy from each other, and we sell each other's stuff. And it's been amazing. So if you're
Now,
ever
what's the name of this company that you have been operating so long for?
Sorry, Javi's Gravy Sauce for Dogs.
My dog tore it up.
It's good. Most dogs are loving it. And the place to visit, if you ever want to come down, is Merchantville, which is only about 15 minutes outside of the city.
Yeah.
Right.
And you're gonna love all of these business owners. They're amazing, beautiful women, and I'm so proud to be a part of that group. So who knew when we were getting started we would have all this community, but we do, and we support each other.
And we're glad to have not only the opportunity in utilizing this principle of ujima with a real live example of a business entrepreneur who is also being able to, by being a part of Black Docent Collective, show the social capital by being able to be in volunteer in order to be able to move our mission, not just to ourselves, but to the broader community. And here we just demonstrated through history, through examples, through inspiration, how ujima, cooperative economics, is not just about, as someone said earlier, the transaction of good, but the interaction of a people for the support of a people. And if anybody, I'm winging it, y'all. So Valerie, do you have anything you would like to share?
I wanted to close out, but I really wanted to offer Sheila, we have a new person here, and we wanted to at least get someone's voice before we close out, if they want to share about what ujima means to them or Kwanzaa in general, and welcome them to share.
To share, absolutely.
Sheila, would you like to share with us? Are you there?
Is she muted?
Yeah.
Thank you, but not at this time. All right, sister, we got you. Good for the chat. Didn't mean to put you on the spot, but just wanted to know we saw your presence and we welcome and we thank you. And for our closure, I hope you allow me to share, Richard.
Just go ahead.
So we do talk about art a lot, right? And when you think about Black artists, they gotta be like on their own. They're doing their own thing every time they're creating art and hoping that they could sell it to somebody. And sometimes, like Jewel was mentioning, Black folks, it's kind of hard. We might not always buy. Art is expensive, but we're trying to help support our Black artists. That's what we have to do. And so in the spirit of that, we're gonna close down with what Kwanzaa is by me introducing an artist. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Okay, so just real quick, to remember why we're here today, we are celebrating Kwanzaa. Just want to share my slide. Like Richard, I'm having my little problems with this. Just want to show some imagery with Kwanzaa, and that's what I'm trying to end with a quote. So we didn't even talk about who founded Kwanzaa, right? Balanga Karanga, and this is a quote that he had, and I thought this was very powerful. There was a thrust to raise the consciousness of the people, and we argued that in order to free ourselves, we must be ourselves, Africans, a people oppressed and in struggle, and we must be self-conscious about this. So this is what it's all about, conscious of who we are. We know we have been in the struggle, like one of the principals said, but we can rise above it. And we are trying to learn our history, and it kind of goes with what BDC is about as well. So in that spirit, I'm going to introduce a Black self-taught artist. So she taught herself, did not have to go to school for it. And that's Cynthia St. James. She was born February 11th in 1949 in Los Angeles, California. She's a self-taught visual artist. She's an author and an educator. She designed the first Kwanzaa stamp, so people might know that already. The Kwanzaa stamp for the U.S. Postal Service and the Kwanzaa Forever stamp in 2016. I think the Kwanzaa stamp was 1996, and I forgot to put that, but the Kwanzaa Forever stamp is 2016. She's an illustrator as well, and she illustrated her first book about Kwanzaa that was also published in 1994. This is the book, The Gifts of Kwanzaa, Cynthia St. James, and it's a children's book, something you can purchase. It's been out again since published in 1994. These are the two stamps. The first one is she started in 1996, the Kwanzaa stamp, and then the one next to it in 2016 is the Forever Kwanzaa stamp. And again, self-taught artist. So you're looking at this artwork and the colors and things she used. She's doing this from her own. Just wanted to show you a few more of her pictures. See the graduates up there? Beautiful pictures. We also at the BDC like to think about bringing children in all we can. So even though we have a lot of scholarly stuff that we talk about, we also talk about stuff, and we want to share stuff for our children to be part of education about Black history. And is that not a beautiful picture of someone reading to our children? Y'all still with me?
Go ahead.
Okay. And this is just a little bit more for artwork, and we're going to end on this as we close for this Kwanzaa celebration. So we have the 7 principles that Richard just talked about in the beginning. We have it in word and color. But we also, and Richard is also representing that there's colors to Kwanzaa, okay? And our colors are red, black, and green. Red for my blood, black for my people, and green for my land. And I think we talked about all of this, and we covered all this. And these are, again, the 7 principles, knowing that tomorrow will be Kuumba, which is my favorite, and that's creativity, excuse me. And we're going to end on a positive image of a father and son lighting the candles. And then we got an intergenerational with our elders and our children and family together celebrating Kwanzaa. And I want to thank y'all for that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep, thank you. Very nice.
Well, once again, we've done, hopefully for each one of us, and as Annie started, and to the spirit of the ancestors, we gave an offering in relationship to what we see in the process of building a nation, of building a people, of reinforcing individual relationships and bonding between ourselves and those who participate with us, the community at large. Area